Hello guys, my name is Nozaki, and let me start by apologizing. I actually have two apologies. Number one, I'm sorry. I know I promised you guys a video, what was it, like Wednesday of last week, and it's now a week from then, so I'm sorry about that, but things got rather busy in my life. But without delving into that, let me jump to my next apology, which is I am sorry for the length of this video, but I absolutely need to make the video this long, because DICE went ahead and they gave us a little bit of a surprise. I was not expecting this, and what they did is they released a patch, and unlike DICE, they released the patch first on console, and normally the patch will come out, you know, first on PC or maybe one of the next gen consoles, but actually I believe Xbox 360, PS3, and PS4 all got the patch, and then it is supposed to be coming to the other consoles soon. But essentially this patch is huge, and it's rather funny because the patch is rather small in size. You know, it's only about 600 megabytes, at least on 360. And the patch affected a lot of the hit detection, netcode stuff, you know, minor fixes that all seem to add up to a better product, if you understand what I'm saying. And it's made a huge difference. But also, what I'm going to be talking about a lot in this game is the patch seems to have affected the game mode Obliteration on these vanilla maps, you know, the maps that came with Battlefield 4 at launch. It has changed the way the game plays on these maps so much. Okay, so let me first start out by saying that I definitely enjoyed Obliteration before on these maps. You know, I most commonly play Rush. It's my favorite game mode. But Obliteration was a nice change up from Rush, and it's sort of linear infantry focused game mode where, you know, it's essentially, you know, you've got to push up and get the bomb planted and then defend it. I mean, that's just an attacker obviously, but Obliteration is definitely a change up from that, and I liked it. And I liked the whole parachute spawn system, but the way they've tweaked it now, I definitely like it as well. But I mean, before, Obliteration was a great game mode to go play and use vehicles. You know, a lot of vehicles that weren't commonly in, you know, other maps or game modes. You know, like the mobile AA made a lot of appearances on Obliteration that it simply didn't in, you know, Rush or, I guess, Conquest either. I mean, Obliteration could be a sort of go-to game mode to use a lot of the different vehicles. And they've sort of removed the emphasis off of these vehicles in the game mode. But okay, I'm going to come back to that in a second, because I absolutely need to talk about, because I know it looks like my teammate is a complete idiot and can't plant the bomb. But after this, I had to go into, you know, a lobby and try and plant the bomb myself, and what I discovered is a little silly, okay? So it makes the ping like I've planted the bomb, right? But obviously I haven't, you know, the timer's not going off, and it still says carrying bomb on my HUD, so I go back and I try to plant again, and okay, I wait an extra little bit, and I hold X a little longer, and then I finally get the plant. And essentially what this means is DICE has made, you know, it so you have to hold the button longer to plant the bomb, but in their infinite wisdom, they decided not to increase the animation length, you know, the length of that little bar filling up as your progress of planting the bomb, and the game has sort of suffered. But okay, this gentleman over here, Mr. Aztec Burrito 69, he was my sort of arch rival, if you will, this game. I wouldn't really say that, but he just seemed to show up at the most random times and kill me in these sort of weird and inopportune, for myself at least, instances, and it was very, very annoying, if you will. And it didn't help that he was using, you know, a DMR with a suppressor, and God, the DMRs in this game make the most ridiculous sounds, but it didn't help that he was doing that. But okay, I get this gentleman right here, and then I try to get this gentleman with an impact grenade, but I don't believe I get him. I just hit marker him. And then I see this gentleman on my radar. I see that he's going to come up these stairs. So I was sort of waiting for him. And then I shoot him in the back, and then immediately Mr. Aztec Burrito just destroys me while peeking around a corner. And that's just sort of how this game was at times, you know. There was a broad stretch here where I was doing horrible, I thought. And then I'm not going to reveal what happens at the end because spoilers. And I sped up this part right here because essentially what I did is I flanked around from our spawn to their spawn, and that's something that's sort of it's sort of changed because of the way DICE has changed the spawns, and I'll get into that later. But I ended up taking a really long time to get back around here, and it worked to an extent, but okay. I come up right here, and I get this gentleman in the back right here, and then I get the second gentleman over here in his back to complete the 2-piece, but there is no 3-piece, unfortunately, today. The combo meal will just have to stop there, and then this gentleman got behind cover right here, and essentially what happened is, I noticed this a lot, if I try and, sort of exist, if you will, in the enemy team spawn, I just get overrun, because as you can see, that's a good 3 or 4 people on a 12-man team shooting at me exclusively. I know I'm sort of, I don't even want to say that I'm sort of a priority target. I mean, oftentimes I will get marked high value target by the commander, but I don't really want to say that. But as you can see, if you try and sneak into an enemy team spawn, it will definitely, I don't want to say it's going to make them angry, but it will infuriate them. And the Type 88 has some very wonderful range. I'll have to talk about that, but the sort of sneaking behind enemy lines and then just trying to literally shoot enemies in the back as they spawn. I know that's a really cheap tactic, but I try and do almost anything to help my team win, but it really seems, obviously it's going to make players extremely enraged, and then they're going to come after you extremely quickly. But the Type 88, man, okay, I hadn't been using it in a while. For a while there, I was just being a total idiot and just only using assault rifles. And assault rifles are just such a small sect of the game. And coming back and using LMGs, I first started this sort of, return to LMGs with the MG4, which is by far, if you ask me, I think it is, well, of course, it and the 249 are very similar. I don't have access to the 249, but it and the M249 are both very, very good weapons, but the Type 88 is also an extremely good weapon because, okay, it's got very low recoil, it has a 200 round box mag, and then on top of that you can slap a stubby grip and a heavy barrel like I've got on here, and then it becomes extremely accurate at range while still maintaining that controllability, so you can just destroy kids. And to come back to that previous point, yes, okay, as you can see, that gentleman is running around with the bomb. Well, he's not really running around with the bomb. I guess he is being a passenger on a ship, or I guess it's not a boat, it's a yacht, but he's riding around in one of the many transport vehicles, and that's, I don't think Paracel Storm, as I get another 2-piece, and I don't quite get the 3-piece here, but that's something that I don't think Paracel Storm really will convey. I definitely want, like, okay, if you want to understand what I'm saying when I say there are a lot of transport vehicles on these maps, like, even though the emphasis of vehicles in Obliteration has been sort of removed, there are still a ton of vehicles, okay? And I think the perfect map to convey this is go play Siege of Shanghai Obliteration. I swear, I mean, holy stromboli, dude. There are like more quad bikes on that map than there are people. It's like you're drowning in quad bikes. I don't understand why DICE put such an abundance of vehicles. I guess maybe it has to do with the whole 64 players on next gen thing. Although I don't believe Obliteration is currently playable with 64 players on next gen consoles, but go figure. But as you can see here, the Type 88, it's just so good at range because it's got that low rate of fire. I've got a heavy barrel and a stubby grip on here. It's very controllable, and I tried to use the magnifier at times here, but it's really situational. But the Type 88 is just extremely good at range, and I would also say it's pretty versatile. Like the 700 rounds per minute, it's slow, But there are instances in here where I will just absolutely destroy people in close quarters, and I would say that it's definitely one of my favorite LMGs. And it's not like, I know I put the heavy barrel on here in the stubby grip, but it's not like you need to be that accurate, because again, you've got 200 rounds, you know. If you just sort of fire them near people, and eventually they just sort of like, their eyes will bleed from suppression, and their wrists will break from the extra recoil, and they'll just die. Like, keep in mind that that's another tool that I don't really want to say that you can abuse, but you can sort of utilize to your advantage, you know. Suppression is in the game for a reason, and if you're going to use an LMG, you know, pre-firing around a corner and getting it so that the enemy has a much more difficult time, you know, aiming and staying on target is definitely a great thing to do. I mean, you got 200 rounds, you know. It's not like you're wasting them, because you can easily resupply them because you're running an ammo pack. Duh. And okay, I have no idea what happened. So, okay, I come over to this balcony and I try to shoot the sniper here, and I have no idea how Mr. Aztec Burrito 69 rendered an explosion by firing his Scar HSV spam cannon at me. But I don't even know. I'm not sure, because you could see he was firing some sort of explosive, yet on my screen it showed him as using the support kit, so it's not like he had access to, you know, an RPG or something, so I'm not sure what that is. It might be one of those weird glitches that DICE still has to get around to fixing, but I don't know. That's just one of those ones where I just I don't know. I don't know. But it's completely okay, because look, I get my revenge immediately thereafter. I mean, karma's just wonderful. And this gentleman, I have no idea what happened to him. He just sort of died, and then I was running impact grenades. I still am on my support kit, and I was sort of off with them, as you'll see. And I did this sort of ninja stealth maneuver, and I shoot this gentleman in the back, and it's Aztec Burrito again. And this is, oh my god, I pooped my pants, because it's like, that was like 3 or 4 guys, and then somehow Mr. Rebel Cowboy 351 revenges me. I killed him 4 straight times, and then he somehow gets me around the corner. And yes, okay, I did say that netcode and hit detection, whatever you want to call it, has sort of improved, and I would definitely say that is the case. And as you can see right here, the enemy team was also having problems playing the bomb, so it wasn't just my idiot teammates. The enemy team was having difficulties as well. But while I said that the netcode has improved, that's not to say that it's perfect. There are still issues and bugs, and DICE still hasn't improved the tick rate, so things like that still sort of happen. But it's I definitely saw some sort of improvement in the past couple of days. I know that's a small sample size to go off of, but I've definitely seen an improvement over the past couple of days. And I could definitely relate that to this most recent patch. And essentially, what I did right here is I essentially just spammed bullets for a really long time. I'm going to speed up a portion here where I essentially reloaded and threw grenades, but essentially what I did is I just spammed bullets up these 2 balconies where the enemy team just seemed to be, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if they were having like a powwow, but you'll see I'll get a lot of hit markers on these. It's groups of enemies, so I'm sort of splitting the bullets half and half, and I get that gentleman right there. But essentially you'll see, and it's not really just with LMGs. I've sort of adopted this play style a little bit. God, what was that? That was like my New Jersey half of my, you know, jeans kicking in. Just the style of my play is I'll tell you, my play style, it's very defensive. All right, my play style, it's defensive, you know. And come to the front office. God, the lady at my school, whenever I think of a New Jersey accent, I always think of her, because she's got like this horrible New Jersey accent. You know that lady who calls you up to the front desk? Would you please come to the front desk so I can let you out of my school? That's essentially what she sounds like sometimes. But essentially what I did here is more spamming and more. I covered up a lot of my body using. I definitely like these stairs and these buildings once they get destroyed out, because you can easily cover up a large section of your body. As I don't quite get that gentleman right there, but I believe you get that gentleman right there, and then I get his teammate who came up the stairs up. I only chunk him, but I got the important part, the suppression assist. And you think I'm kidding right there, but suppression assist, that can be a big deal. I mean, I know suppression isn't as important as it was in Battlefield 3, but as I talked about earlier in this video, suppressing with LMGs can be a really good thing to sort of help your team. It's sort of a selfless thing to do. But I definitely like lurking in these, you know, upper stories of these buildings or the destroyed sections of them and using them as cover once they sort of get destroyed off. And I can feel the anger coming from Angry Burrito 69 over there, just firing his DMR. But this was a really weird instance, okay? I could hear the motion ball, okay, and it was pinging, and I knew I was on the minimap. But okay, I jumped down here and I shot this gentleman, and literally none of them ever came for me, it seemed like. I knew I was spot on their minimap. I was like, okay, Mr. Angry Burrito 69, and that's his new name, by the way, because he's firing his angry DMR. He's now Angry Burrito 69, but nobody on his teams, I guess that must have been like his motion ball or something, I don't know. Well, he was using the support kit, so, geez, who threw the motion ball, and why is it nobody on their team ever seemed to come after me? I don't know, but I knew I was spotted and no one ever seemed to come after me. It was very, very weird. But okay. This gentleman sort of came around the corner and then get dunked on with a Type 88. That's what I'm talking about. And this gentleman wasn't, I guess he was trying to shoot my teammate through the door, but that's not going to work on me. Their team seemed to do something. And then here, I don't complete the trifectum. My teammate steals my kill, and I can't quite get the 3-piece. That was very rage-inducing. It seemed like all I could ever get this game were just 2 pieces after 2 piece after 2 piece after 2 piece. I mean, I guess that's sort of greedy of me to ask for more than 2 kills at a time, but, you know, maybe the amount of kills I want to get at one time is more than 2, you know? Whoever thought about that, you know? I know that's a little selfish, but I'm allowed to be selfish every once in a while. And I get another gentleman over here. That was Hoop Dog, okay? That guy has the... I have met some great guys with great names, and Mr. Angry Burrito 69 shoots me through that little snippet. I saw it and I was sort of thinking about shooting through there, but that gentleman came up the stairs way too quick to get me. But of course, Mr. Angry Burrito 69 of course has the same exact thought that I did. But as I was trying to say there, I've definitely run into some great people with some great names, and essentially, as I get that gentleman right here, essentially what this turned into is the entire enemy team somehow invaded. This is technically our spawn, and I get another 2-piece right there, including Mr. Angry Burrito 69, and then there's the 3-piece. The struggle is real, but it's finally, my ambition is finally realized, and I get a 3-piece today, and that's just wonderful. But somehow, the entire enemy team seemed to sort of make it over here towards our spawn, and what ended up happening is we ended up getting pinned back as I get another gentleman, Aztec Burrito, yet again. Why are you so angry? It's probably because you are a burrito and you like to 69. I don't know if that makes you angry, but I can tell you, if I were a burrito and all I could do was 69, I would be pretty furious, and I would probably use a DMR as well. However, that does not make up for his fact. And yet again, that range, though. I know that's a lot of bursting and a lot of missing, but essentially what happened is we sort of got pinned back here, and it just, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that this is the most exciting game of all time ever, but I think it's the perfect backdrop to talk about this most recent patch, as that range yet again, man. I know that's a lot of bursting, and you can probably get that kill with almost any gun with a slow rate of fire, but the Type 88, just so many bullets, and you don't need to be accurate. And I get another gentleman right here, Hoop Dog. I'm sorry, man, you got such a ballin' name, but I gotta shoot you in your face, though. I'm sorry, though. But essentially, what happened here is this guy parachuted down, and I had to wait on him, and I got a little bit greedy with my bursting ahead of time, but he sort of didn't know where I was shooting him from, so I was able to get him there. And then I reloaded, and I realized, holy crap, I'm doing extremely good this game, and there's 10 seconds left, and Mr. Angry Burrito gets me one last time to end the game. I believe I died 8 times this game, and he accounted for 5 of them by himself, and we draw. I mean, I guess I sort of won my one-on-one, you know, I 1v1 me, figured I sort of beat Aztec Burrito in that sense. I beat him 7-5 if you couldn't see there, but I thought this was the perfect backdrop, you know, a draw where I don't believe either team planted the bomb once, and that's sort of because of the silliness on DICE's part. But I mean, besides that, this patch has done a lot of good things. And it's definitely increased the fun factor for me, but okay. Naval Strike is on the way, and I'll be sure to cover that for you guys. And for your bonus clip, it's going to be, I don't know if you guys will hear it, but when I heard this, I instantly just yelled into my headset. I was like, oh my god, that soldier just yelled YOLO. This is perfect. But okay, I want to thank you guys very much for tolerating the length of this video, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, and I hope you have a favorable amount of time until then.
你受伤了，我给你治疗。